Over 3 tickers, and the first one up is Realty Income Corporation. I'm a landlord, so I like to check out this stock. I also have invested some of my mom's money into this ticker. So we ended the week at $54.10, up just over 0.5%. The day's low, $53.62. The day's high, $54.20. The 1-year price target is $60.63, which represents a 12% increase from where we are. This is where we landed. To the north side takes us back to the middle of the trend and the baseline at roughly $54.20. Above that takes us to roughly $54.56. This is resistance from where we are and a potential take profit area. And above that, $54.74 and $54.92. Ignore the horizontal lines. Those are previous support and resistance lines that I have tracked for myself. Now to the south side, support and a potential buy-in area takes us to $53.84, $53.67, and $53.48. There's a gap that begins at $52.85, closes out at $52.74. We are not in the channel, not in the zone. Note we are in an upward channel right now. And here you can see we hit support and a bounce, a buy-in area, potential buy-in area, resistance, sell-off, back down to support. If we are at this line, or this line, and we go back to the middle of the trend, that is support. And then I always anticipate price to go through the middle of the trend to either get to the downside or obviously to the upside, or we will just base along here until either buyers take over or sellers take over. And then in this case, at support, bounce up to resistance, fall down, back up to resistance. And then you can see this back here. If you don't pay for an account on TradingView and you're using it for free, you do not need to put this line or this line on the chart here because that's an outlier. And if you're just getting in and getting out, I always anticipate price to stay within -2 and 2 standard deviations. That's pretty safe. But if you're trying to play ultra conservatively, you would go from from this line to the middle of the trend and get off the gravy train. That's one way to play it. Very safe, ultra conservative. But I like to play it to 2 or sometimes set my limit, my sell limit between 2 and 3. I'm pushing it at 4. Whenever I set it at 4, that means I really don't care about getting out of the trade. I am just letting it ride. And sometimes I get stopped out. I hit the limit, that is, and I get mad at myself, but that's okay. At least it's a win. And the RSI is getting to the overbought area, not quite overextended yet, but if you look left, anytime we get overextended at 70 and above, look what happens. Okay, we start to fall down here, we start to fall down as well. And then down here, I just use RSI as support and resistance. Now, the next one I want to go over is Unilever. I'm also in this trade for my mom, and I think for myself too. Ignore the horizontal lines. So first up, the day's low, $49.95. The day's high, $50.24. I think I'm up around 12% right now for my mom in this trade. I have to look it up. The 1-year price target is $53.89, which represents a 7% return from where we are. And I believe this stock pays a dividend as well. Where is it? Oh, here it is, 3.66. I don't buy stocks because of the dividend, but it's a nice bonus. But for my mom, I do like that. Oh, let me switch this over because I like to, if you don't want to see the gaps, go over to this candle. This one is candles, and then the other one is the Heiken Ashi, where the lines are smoother, easier to read. But I like to see the gaps, and sometimes I'll flip it over. All right, we ended the week here. To the north side, at resistance, 50.39, a potential take profit area. 50.53, and from where we are, I don't know that we will hit this on Monday. 50.67. Again, I wouldn't even use this line, but I just like to show it to you. But I don't need it to trade. The middle of the trend takes me to 50.11 roughly, and if we get there, I will anticipate a slight bounce, but right now we are consolidating, basing, barcoding, going sideways, and the RSI is turning down. So I anticipate we will hit this line and then start to touch maybe this, which is a gap fill starting at 49.92. So if you'd like to go and short a stock, there you go. 49.83, 49.69, 49.55, and to the south side, 49.49. Note this gap that closed to the south side at 49.64, and it also coincided with support, but we went down again to another level of support and a potential buy-in area. Boom, all the way up, and from down here, as we ride back up, this turns into support, and on the way down, it turns into, it turns into resistance, and on the way down, it turns into support. Looking left, another support area. Now we've got this gap. I will need to extend this. I've looked at this in the past for myself. I haven't made a chart on this in a little while, or updated the chart. So that's something to look forward to. We are in an upward channel, and this is within the zone. I don't know if this will close out, but it could potentially close out on Monday or Tuesday. But if we continue to go up, it will definitely close out by the end of the week, but I anticipate sooner. And ignore this line. That's an old support line. I'll just delete this right now. I could go through and delete all that, but maybe at some point I will. And then this is a gap to the downside. That closed out at 48.47, and what is this line? Oh, here we go. I forgot to extend this out. So we gapped up, which means I anticipate a gap down. So I like to color code everything to keep it nice and easy for me to read. Oops. I think something locked. Here we go. And you cannot, if you've got the magnet turned on like I do, you cannot be right on the target. It has to be one tick over here, one slight day over for this to catch. Otherwise, it gets wonky. Just keep that in mind. Oops. Shoot, it just keeps getting stuck on this. Okay. Anyway, this one takes us down to 48.52. Again, we are not in the channel, not in the zone. It's something to be aware of when we reverse course. But right now, in an upward channel, we've been all over the place with this stock and with O as well. Now, the next one I want to go over is Lvmuy. Louis Vuitton, Moet Hennessy. All right. I'm doing this one so that I can show two traders how I set up my chart. Now, I've done this before in the past and no one watches it, okay? So let me just first go over the price targets. Other people make videos on that, and I just do price action for you. 180.01 to the south side and 181.17. Didn't move very much. The 1 year price target is only 190.54, which represents a 5% return from where we are. I gotta fix something. The background label, the border, the line color. I need to turn this white so you can see it. All right, to the north side, resistance and a potential take profit area, 181.72, 182.43. This gap closes to the upside at 182.68 and 183.13. Back at the middle of the trend, 180.39, 179, 178.31, 178.15 where this gap begins, 177.65, and it closes out at 177.39. Note the bounce at support, sell off here at resistance, and from here going down is support. We bounced back up to resistance, and then what happens? Slid right back down. All right, so you can always anticipate, again, price action to stay within -2 and 2 all day long. So on this one, what I'm going to do is, oh wait, I just hit something and it disappeared. See how wonky TradingView gets? All right, to get the lines back on, go to, oh, you can't, my tab, oh, I can't show it to you because the way I've recorded this, I cannot show it to you. Otherwise, I have to stop the video and start all over again. But under the indicators, I'm going to just walk you through this very quickly. Under the indicators, there's a drop-down menu. Can I even do it? Yeah. So indicators, metrics, and strategies. So start typing LIN. That stands for linear regression channel. Click on it. All right, see the lines that popped up? This is the middle of the trend. This is -2 and 2. If you're using a free account, that's all you need to do. Just keep it simple for yourself. Do not do anything fancy until you understand how this operates, how the calculations are made. The TradingView does it for you. So basically, this is a potential buy-in area. And when we get to this line, this is a potential sell area if you are just playing it ultra conservatively. And then 2 standard deviations. Anything that's outside of that is an outlier and considered a sell signal when we are up here. And as a matter of fact, you can just play the grids as well. See the grid? I think they call that the grid and the crosshair or something like that. I'll have to look that up. But that's what some people play. So if we're here, a target for you could be here, this line, or this line, all right? And then to the south side from here, it's hard to see, but the grid is here, 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 and here, all right? But when we're at support and we go below support, below -2, that's also considered an outlier and a potential buy signal. Of course, we can free fall. Of course, we can continue to keep going down. But at some point, it could reverse. I don't like to talk about falling knives because I don't trade that way. I don't really trade. Well, for long-term investments, I don't panic. To me, when things are falling, if I'm not in it, it's an opportunity to buy. I'm a contrarian. I like it. I like to go in the opposite direction of everybody else, and I've done very well doing that for myself. But anyway, that's it. And just play -2 and 2 and get the hang of that, and then you can add on to that. But you do not need to pay for an account. And if you do want to pay for an account, you can use my link. I'll put a link on my description box, and you can link to that and buy it. I think I get a credit for that, but no one's ever done it through mine because, again, I'm a very tiny channel. So that is how I use the linear regression channel. And that is a look at Unilever and Louis Vuitton, my sister's favorite store. I do have some earrings and a bag from them, but nothing crazy. But anyway, that's it. Have a great trading week.